This one is one of the, it's an exotic plant that has come to India maybe 100, 200 years back. And it's one of the passiflora. So after a foreign plant lands up in a new country or a new territory, it has a great advantage over the native plants, because one is the local insects and all who normally control the native species growth and population and all, they all are unable to digest these invasive species usually, because you need caterpillars to eat those leaves. Then local animals and all should consume some part of that plant. So that way the natural balance is maintained. So when an invasive species comes in, it doesn't face any competition. It's like Amazon or one of those McDonald's comes in here to a country like India, a foreign place, and then there are our local darshanis and all can't compete with those fellows because of their resources and so many advantages that they have. So the unequal competition is created, and then those invasive species of plant, whatever it is, it can spread very rapidly and damage the ecosystem. It's also useless for local plants and all, because they don't know how to use it and utilize it. Then after some time, these invasive species, they come into a category called naturalized. That is, over a couple of 100 years, some of the local insects learn to make use of these invasive plants. For example, this passiflora, what I am showing now, since it has been in India for a long time, some of our local caterpillars started eating it. So you can see there. So once these local butterflies can start, then once the caterpillars can eat that plant, then the local butterflies and all start laying eggs on those plants, and then those caterpillars consume some of that those leaves and all, and it creates some kind of it becomes useful to local biodiversity. And then also some control is established. Once a local creature start eating these leaves and all that, then it starts fitting into the local biodiversity, and therefore it gets reclassified as, from invasive species, it becomes a naturalized. Like for example, even it happens in all kind of birds and fish and all kind of species. Even humans, they migrate from somewhere else for various reasons, and then they settle down in a new land. After many generations, they get used to that local place and become naturalized citizens. Likewise, these plants also, when a plant comes to a new place for the first time, it is an invasive. After some time, the local plants and that rest of that life forms around there, they all get acclimatized to it, and they start feeding off each other, and therefore it's called as naturalized plant. Though it's not a native of that country, nor it is endemic, it has spread widely and far, and then it has settled down, and it has learned to cope with the local biodiversity, and local species also, they learn how to deal with it, and finally it becomes naturalized. So I have tried to explain what is a naturalized plant species. If anyone has questions, if you write underneath, I can address it specifically.